HCIE-Cloud Computing, written, H13531_V2.0. Real exam questions are available, which are helpful and useful for you to study the test. Share some HUAWEI H13531_V2.0 real exam questions here. 1. Which of the following statements about the value brought by FusionCompute is wrong? A. FusionCompute can improve business reliability. B. FusionGompute can improve computing power. C. When the VM virtual machine node fails, the VM HA will move to other nodes and start. D. When the VM node is overhauled as planned, the VM is live migrated to other nodes without affecting the virtual machine service. 2. Which of the following is not the function of the VRM module in FusionCompute? A. Manage block storage resources within the cluster. B. Through unified management of virtual resources and user data, external services such as single-sex computing, storage, and IP are provided. C. Manage the dynamic adjustment of resources in the cluster. D. Provide virtual computing functions. 3. Which of the following statements about the advantages of the analog I/O device method is wrong? A. Low dependency on hardware platform. B. High compatibility. C. It is also available for scenarios with high I/O performance requirements. 4. Which of the following descriptions of thin disks is wrong? A. Thin disk uses dynamic disk technology, which can save storage space. B. The disk is allocated space when it is created. C. The size of the thin disk is 0 when it is created. When the thin disk is created, it contains a small amount of metadata information. The size is generally tens of K. D. Applicable to scenarios where users have unclear storage requirements, or the plant capacity is larger than the actual capacity. 5. Which of the following about the description of computing virtualization features is wrong? A. To be compatible with a new operating system, the manufacturer needs to provide a matching PV driver. HUAWEI has the ability to develop PV drivers. In addition to being compatible with mainstream Windows and Linux operating systems, FusionCompute is also compatible with domestic Winning operating systems. Specific versions may require customized drivers. B. Has a flexible management structure. C. The online CPU and memory adjustment technology can adjust the CPU and memory specifications when the virtual machine supported by the platform is still running. At this time, the virtual machine needs to be restarted to take effect. D. Support GPU virtualization, GPU pass-through. 6. Regarding the related concept of EVS, which of the following is the wrong? A. Run user mode EVS on the host, and use DPDK's network card management API and huge page memory to improve the performance and processing capabilities of physical network cards. B. Based on vhost-user technology, vhost directly interacts with EVS in kernel mode, and obtains DPDK huge page address through address offset, which improves performance by 30%–40%. C. EVS is a flexible point-to-switch based on OVS forwarding technology that improves its I/O performance. D. EVS uses batch processing and polling mechanisms to improve message processing capabilities. 7. In the FusionCompute system, Which of the following statements about the distributed virtual switch is correct? A. A distributed virtual switch is a virtual switch that functions like an actual physical switch. B. The virtual machine is connected to the distributed virtual switch through the uplink. C. The external physical network is connected to the distributed virtual switch through port groups. D. FusionCompute distributed virtual switch types only include normal mode and SR-IOV mode. 8. When using HUAWEI Desktop Cloud, someone mistakenly set the IP of their virtual machine to the IP of the gateway, so that other users' desktops cannot be connected to the Internet. In order to avoid this phenomenon, which of the following functions can be enabled? A. Suppress virtual machine R broadcast packets. B. Suppress virtual machine IP broadcast packets. C. It is strictly forbidden to modify the IP address. D. Bind IP address and MAC. 9. Regarding HUAWEI's computing virtualization and memory sharing used by the memory multiplexing feature, which of the following statements is correct? A. VMs with shared memory should be the same OS. B. The virtual machine performs read-only operations on shared memory. C. When the virtual machine needs to write to the memory, it needs to open up another memory space and modify the mapping. D. All of the above statements are false. 10. In the HUAWEI Cloud Computing environment, which of the following description for the software load balancer is correct? A. Deploy HAProxy load balancing software in virtual machines. B. Flexible deployment, convenient management, no additional hardware costs. C. Limited performance, not suitable for large-scale throughput, can use the HA of virtual machines to achieve high availability. D. All of the above statements are correct.